Canada's Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre made a major change last week, replacing campaign veteran Jenny Byrne with longtime operative Stephen Outhouse as campaign manager. What does this signal? A shift in message, a tightening of control, or is it just simple election prep recalibration? And who is this Outhouse? Well, he's a longtime conservative strategist, Gary, with experience in the Harper era politics and senior operations. Jenny Byrne, the outgoing manager, has faced internal critiques about operational discipline. The switch signals the conservatives are tightening strategy as the minority liberal government faces the loss of future confidence motion votes.
Jenny Byrne, who ran the campaign back in April and has run previous campaigns, but this one back in April, which turned out to be a disaster, quite frankly. And you had a couple of provincial conservative premiers who wanted nothing to do with Poilievre. One of them was Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston, and the other one, of course, was Ontario Premier Doug Ford. And if you don't have, like it or lump them, if you don't have Doug Ford on board with you,
good luck.
Yeah, seat-rich Ontario, good luck is right. And there's no love lost between Ford and Poilievre, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Well, you mentioned the styles of both campaign managers. You mentioned Outhouse was abrupt, and you mentioned also he kind of errs in the side of, you mentioned MAGA, Republican MAGA, call it Maple MAGA if you want, for lack of a better word, him being a Canadian, that type of approach and an in-your-face approach. And interestingly enough, you'd also mentioned that Byrne, as a campaign manager who lost 20 some odd points in the last election during the campaign, also had kind of an in-your-face approach to things, right? And you kind of look at it. You look at Poilievre during question period. He tends to resort back to that in-your-face Trudeau this and previous Liberal Party administrations in-your-face type of discussion and dialogue. You would think that A, he would have learned, and we both know he did not learn from his last mistakes. B, he would have learned that style of campaign management and in-your-face approach in terms of direction and coaching the communication that you're supposed to be conveying to the Canadian population should not be the same as the one you've used before, because you lost an election quite handily. You lost your riding. You had to go to almost a bulletproof riding to get your place back in the House of Commons, and you're going right back to your in-your-face style and rhetoric on previous administrations that no longer exist to garner your success moving forward. And you got a Maple MAGA, a boisterous Maple MAGA, and you still kept on staff Byrne on some other lesser role to do what for you? More of the same? Gary, I don't know about you, but to me that sounds like running into a wall and doing it all over again because you forgot how much you hurt the first time. So I think you're absolutely right. You're bang on there. He seems to be surrounding himself with the wrong advice, the wrong people to lead him to the promised land, which I really don't think, and it's unfortunate. I was really hoping the Conservative Party of Canada would really elect a leader with character, with charisma, with credentials, and understood what Canadians wanted. They just didn't do it with Poilievre. I think is a lost cause, but I'm really rooting for the Conservative Party to take a step back, take a look at what they represent in Canada and what they want to represent for Canadians, and put a leader in place that'll actually drive that forward and give Carney a run for his money. I'd love to see that, and I just don't think it's going to happen with Poilievre. I really don't.
No, he just signaled the fact that bringing Outhouse in, to me, it's going to be more of the same with maybe a slightly fresher approach, but it's a lost opportunity. And the other part of it is, yeah, you may solidify your support in Saskatchewan and Manitoba, or Saskatchewan and Alberta, but those provinces aren't rich in seats like Ontario and Quebec. And Ontario and Quebec have to be your main foundation to build upon. And I can't see that happening unless there's they've all had the awakening and there's a huge turnaround. Mm-hmm. I just don't see that happening. And that's something, that we're going to have to watch very closely for any sorts of hints of some kind of a turnaround or softening. The thing of it is, one of the things that I think helped Carney to a degree is he brought the Liberals back more to the center. Mm-hmm. And, one of the things you heard about the budget style and, kind of a conservative style budget, blah, blah. The Conservative Party has gone too far to the right.
Yeah.
And it needs to be brought back more to the center, because overall, Canadians, for the most part, are pretty straightforward, like
common sense in the middle. You go back and forth wherever you need to go, but not down to the extreme. And you're right. He got the old, call it liberal Trudeau 1.0. This is Liberal Party 2.0. It's not the same animal anymore.